Hey everybody, welcome to G4G on YouTube. I'm Napalm Dawn, and today we're going to take a look at Wasp starring in I Love the Avengers. So I'm going to show you the deck first, and then I'm going to show you this replay that I had with this deck and kind of show you this Mega Wasp that I wound up having, and it's always funny watching it when it happens. So this deck is called I Love Avengers, or I Love the Avengers, but there is a limited character set here in Marvel Duel when you're naming something, so it's I Love Avengers. I have Thor as a basis, who is kind of a throwaway a little bit. I may want to reevaluate Hofund over here. By the way, nice sexy new graphic for Hofund. Really great, very detailed graphic compared to what it used to be. But Thor's 3-drops aren't particularly great if you're not running a Thor primary deck. So Hofund was in there, but at the time I think I put Hofund in is when you could put it on more characters. Just a Sif, a Tyr, an Odin, Thor at 4 cards, because I have 4 of him, and he does play into the Avengers part of this. And Angela and Gungi are a little bit of a toss-off, although potentially I could put in a Stormbreaker if I had a really, really good built-up guard class by the end of the match, and use Stormbreaker to rip apart the damage based on the armor. Hela is another anchor of this deck. I have a Blood Axe Ragnarok destruction set up in the beginning. So I have all Hush Nows, 2 Blood Axes, a Dark Elves, and a Frost Beast that could be sacrificed to the Blood Axe. Grandmaster, creating illusions. We'll see more about that in a little bit. An Ebony Blade as a attack equipment, a 4 Hela, which I never wind up going into my 4 Helas lately anyway, but 5 for Hela is a really poor tier if you're not working with illusions. I already have the Loki Scepter. Trading Places is not particularly bad. I might put the Trading Places in for Hela. And then a 2 Laufey and a 2 Fenris Wolf drop. My Black Widow anchor is mostly what my Black Widow Agents deck looks like, with one of the exceptions in that I am not here in the 5-drop running Red Guardian. I have 4 Black Widows, more on that in a moment, and the Ronan's Wrath in there at the 6-drop, 2 Chain Scythes, 2 Motorcycle Escapes, 2 Red Guardian Shields, and this down here is my standard agent loadout for Widow, not the intelligence loadout. And of course the big key is here under the neutrals. So there's 4 mission reports, which I use on the shield agents as a sacrifice, and a Coulson if I got it. But essentially you drop the shield agent when you know you have a card that can fit the shield agent's spot the next turn. You use the mission report to consume the shield agent, drop another card so you don't lose card advantage. And then the next turn after you do that, mission report gives you back the shield agent, and it gives you a random Avengers. So you can see here from neutral I'm pulling a shield agent, an Avengers Wasp, a shield Coulson, an Avengers Scarlet Witch, the original Scarlet Witch, a shield Quake, a Avengers Captain America, an Avengers and Shield Nick Fury, an Avengers Hawkeye, and Avengers Winter Soldier. Now, I only have 2 Nick Furies, so Nick will never affect Hawkeye or Winter Soldier, but he will affect Captain America, Quake, Scarlet Witch, Wasp. He also will hit Thor over here, and he hits nobody, obviously, on the Hela deck. No pun intended. So 2-star Nick Fury is what I can do, and at 2 stars he can affect a shield or an Avenger with a cost of 5 or lower, so that carries everybody except for Hawkeye and Winter Soldier. Now, if I had a 4-star Nick Fury, he could go ahead and work with Hawkeye, which would be great. And an 8-star Nick Fury does 2 of them. You will see a lot of bad Marvel Duel English is exposed in these cards. At the start of the turn, move the other 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. or Avengers characters. Some of these, the English is really poor. There's another one in here in the deck that I know is really, really bad. Is it Black Widow? Before a friendly taking action, they steals. Yes, it was Black Widow. Before a friendly cloaked agent's character taking action, they steal 6 power, 6 armor. So that's the setup of the deck. And now I'm going to show you this replay of when I used the deck in a casual. So here was a casual that I did earlier today. And I kind of want to walk through how this duel went over here and show you the Mega Wasp. So I'm going to pause it for now. Well, actually, no, it's loading up pretty quick because I've already loaded it once. So it should clip along pretty quick. It's probably not the most ladder-worthy deck. Grandmaster illusioning Captain America is pretty meta. Especially if Nick Fury is bumping that Captain America up quite a bit. So my first round was Asp and an Asgardian tank. So we're going to speed this up to 2 speed here, make it a little bit quicker. So here, in round 2, dropped the shield on the tank and got mission report ready, pulled Recluse as an agent. And they were able to weather this storm thanks to Ask getting a little bit of a bonus. So we're looking good so far. This was a poor store right here. But I pulled down another shield and slapped it on Asp. I used Claw to boost Recluse. And this would look pretty dicey. And we came close. And so that's my first damage of the match. Here, again, a shitty store. But I pulled down a Hush Might, or a Hush. Now, an Abomination's Might that I used on my tank. Wasp came down. And you can see I still have the mission report in my hand. A little bit of a Hella deck that I was across from over there. I love how they give you a pause button and it doesn't pause anything. So what I just did there was I dropped the shield agent and then immediately consumed him.
So many souls to harvest.
And now he'll come back in this turn and he gave me a random Wasp when I did it. So now I have this other Wasp that's waiting over here and he's back at 2 stars. So now what I do again is I put him on the field, I consume him with mission report, and then I put Yelena out there. Pulled down an Ebony Blade, gave it to Wasp for a little bit of damage, and I missed falconing my Wasp on that turn. Which is what I should have done. I should have dropped Wasp. So this is a fairly common Electra-based deck that I'm across from. It's very threatening when you see a crit Electra with the silver swords that recover damage. But my punctures screwed up a lot of his armor. And here I have enough damage to get by Electra, and I stun a bunch of her power out. And there we go. So we get the victory there. So So now we're at round 7. I've only lost 1 round. Wasp is now 4-star because of what's been going on with Shield and consuming it with mission report.
Almost ready.
So she's back on the field with Ebony Blade. I get a Hyper Burst, which brings me Nick Fury. I threw away Claw, dropped Nick Fury in, give him the puncture bracers. Recluse 4 stars. Falcon buffs Wasp. I throw the shield on Damon, which I always love when I can do that. We pull a Black Widow. I threw away Recluse for Widow. And now we're ready to go. So kind of a Guardians deck I'm across from. It's a little mishmash, but there's still a lot of power that he has. With the Spider Glider, the Puncture M'Baku, and Adam Warlock. But we get through it pretty easy. And we knock this guy out. Now remember when Black Widow is on the field, all of my agents leech health. And now Wasp is 8-star because of Nick Fury. We put the Ebony Blade back on her. Pull down a Falcon. Pull down a Damon. This time I think yeah, so we drop Falcon to buff Wasp again. Put Damon drawn out there. Now see, there's Grandmaster. Shield. Agent got fully buffed. Up at 4 stars. Nick Fury drops at 2, which means he can now start cycling the Black Widow. I got rid of the Asgardian Agent. I put the shield on the Shield Agent. Pull out Ronan's Wrath. And I have that mission report now ready to go on the Shield Agent for a different round. So we got a really good Wasp. We've got a good Black Widow. And a decent tank in the Shield Agent. Damon gets buffed when the 2 agents, Black Widow and Yelena, take their action. Further buffed by the shield. And this guy was already dead. This just overkills him at this point. So now it's just the 3 last people. Black Widow gets cycled by Nick Fury. So she's now 2 stars for free. I pull down Loki's Scepter, drop it on Yelena. And now because I see Captain America, I mission report the Shield Agent out, pull Cap down, give him a tanking shield, because he doesn't tank unless he has something that runs guard. He does not guard intrinsically. Again, there's the Elektra deck. We obliterate Luke Cage. We take a solid shot from Elektra. The Captain tanks pretty well. I cloned Black Widow, which was a big brain play over there. Because now we have more agents to buff Damon, and we have 2 Black Widows leeching and setting up leech for the other agents. And we demolish this guy. So now it's me, and the final one, Black Widow, goes up to 4 stars. Thanks to Nick Fury, because Wasp is done. Here I'm just kind of cycling the store, pull down a 2-star Captain America. I should grab Falcon. I messed up. I should have grabbed Falcon and had Falcon boost Wasp. Missed that one. Pull down Abomination's Might, drop it on Cap. Pull down Mission Report, just in case. And this is what I believe the final turn is. So Wasp has got a beefy Yaka arrow on her. And she crits Malekith right off the planet. Mjolnir, Storm Beast just feeds my agents due to the leech. her destroyer is already dead. Puncture on a lot of helicards sometimes backfires. Because when you assault the health instead of the armor, you don't get that instant kill. And there we go. The match is over. So, had it gone longer, Nick Fury would have started flipping Captain America. After the Wasp and the Black Widow 8 stars, he could have flipped Cap. Where this deck really is a lot of fun is if you get lucky and pull Nick Fury early enough, he has a lot of time to work on Wasp. And, you know, Wasp is a really solid card with her crit. And she does pretty tremendous amount of work for this deck when she's on the field, especially when she gets up to 8 stars, because if you look at her, she is critical hit. She's similar to Taskmaster, where you want to pull her down where you have a lot of attack cards in the store, which I didn't pay attention to in that match. I just pulled her when I saw her. And here at 8 stars, she's at 40, and she has critical hit, and she'd been getting buffed. So she's a really good starter card for Nick Fury to work on. And a 1-star Nick Fury can work on Wasp or Scarlet Witch or Quake. Here with Cap, Cap's got synergy with Wasp because when Wasp attacks and she attacks early, all characters get +2 power. Not just Avengers cards. So if Cap's on the field and you have Wasp attacking, if you give her multiple attack turns, she'll buff the entire team multiple times. If you have several Wasps out, which you can do with Nick, you'll notice in that match there I had a Wasp in my hand that I didn't use because I didn't really have room for her. But you absolutely can run double Wasps. And if you pull Nick Fury early enough, and he's been working Wasp all the way, and you don't pull another Avenger or Shield, and you drop a second Wasp out there, he'll start making a second Wasp up to 8 star. So 2 8-star Wasps with really good equipment is a lot of fun. And, you know, you have the new gem that's out now, the Sidorak gem, which you could put on Wasp, give her 6 power, and then not only that, but she can steal the power of any other 2-cost card on both sides of the battlefield. So you can Nick Fury up a really, really scary set of Wasps early on. Quake is also available because she's Shield. So if you look at a 4-star Quake, that's Annihilate and critical hit, which means she attacks always somebody straight across the field from her if she can. She, like Wasp, has critical hit. And then at 8 stars, she has 80 power. So this is another good card for Nick Fury to start cycling. Scarlet Witch is a little less of a direct threat for Nick Fury to start bumping up, but this keyword power-up is really good. And if you were to take a look at the collection and see all the people that Nick Fury can work with, he can work with any of the Shield agents, and he works with anybody that has the Avengers tag. So he could start flipping Vision if he wanted to. Vision's not that great for this style. Yes, he has critical hit, but unless you're afraid of stuns, or you're using him to remove the stun on somebody like a Supreme Intelligence, he's not that great. But an 8-star Thor with the right equipment is flippable. An 8 Hulk, is really good on armor decks because every other Guardian gets 8 power and a ridiculous 80 armor. So if he starts cycling your Hulk and you're running a Guardian deck, that's a lot of fun. The new Scarlet Witch, up at 8 stars, she still gives the power, but then every time you drop her on the field, she drops a lore card. Black Widow's really strong. Nobody really does Maria Hill. And it's harder to get the 6 cost Avengers working because you have to have Nick Fury up at 4 stars, so it winds up creating a really big delay in getting them going. But you can do an 8 Iron Man where you defeat the opponent with the lowest power and deal 80 damage. This is a lovely counter to Hela. I would love to see one of these days an 8-star Hawkeye with him having 160 power and critical hit and then gaining another 160 power. This is my dream, to build an 8-star Hawkeye. At one point, Black Panther is really not consideration for me. I mean, 160 and 64 is okay. Giving other guards 40 power and retaliate would be nice, especially if you're running an armor deck and you have Hulk and Black Panther buffing the team. But that is very wishful thinking. So anyway, guys, that is my Mega Wasp starring in I Love the Avengers. I kind of wanted to show you guys that match and tell you not to sleep on Nick Fury buffing up the lower cost cards out of Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. because if you get going early, you could have some really powerful late game cards kind of doing a lot of work for you. And if you combine it with Grandmaster doing Captain America Illusions, which is a meta that people actually complain about, they really hate it, and I guess at the upper reaches of the ladder you will see Illusion Captain Americas a little bit more. I haven't really seen them in a while. I don't run into that deck too often, but I did effectively use it during the New Year events when you were fighting all of the Doctor Strange characters. There definitely were some of those bosses where Illusion Captain Americas along with Valkyrie were a lot of fun. They really did a lot of work on the events. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys. Take care.